Hey, mates, welcome once again into the Little Dum Dum Club for another week. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Tommy Dassolo, and with me, as always, the other half of the program, Carl Chandler.
G'day, dickhead.
We got two very special guests joining us today. Please welcome back into the program, Scott Dooley and Merrick Watts. Yes!
Woo! Back into the program. Make it sound like we've had a bit of a slip up. We got out. We're out of rehab for a while.
Yeah.
We went to a party. We had a slip up, and we're back into the program.
Back on your steps process. Now, first step is content.
Yeah.
Bring some content.
Merrick, thank you for joining us on this beautiful Sunday morning here in Australia. The three of us, we're all locked down in this country, and so we've got nothing better to do but do a podcast on Zoom. And meanwhile, live from New York, it's Saturday night. It's Scott
8 p.m.
Dooley. It's 8 p.m. Nothing on the social calendar. Thought he'd
What
come
a
over to the
loser.
bar and do a podcast.
This is more of an intervention than a podcast tonight, Dool. Sorry, mate. But, get the diary out and put something in it, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ.
I didn't. I was saying to Tom before, like, I didn't even have to think twice when he said, "Can you? Oh, I'm sorry to do it. Can you do 8 o'clock?" Like, fine. And then I can't tell you how many people I've said I can't on Saturday night. I've got plans.
Oh,
I'm busy.
yeah.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Even in lockdown, if someone messaged me and said, "Do you want to do something online at 8 p.m. on Saturday?" I'd go, "Not on your fucking life. I've got a bath and a Netflix series that are just calling my name at that time." Sorry.
Yeah, it's very nice of you, Jules, to when Lorne Michaels rang up before and said, "Can you pop in and do a bit of guest host? We've got Radiohead as the musical group, but we really need a bloke up front." And you've said, "No, thanks, got Dum Dum."
God, I got Dum Dum. I've got
Yeah.
to do it. I want to see him get to 600 before celebrating the 500. So
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, Dulls, you could be out there living it up. You could be walking around the M&M store. You could be doing whatever you want right now.
Well, so this is something I did want to say. I'm broadcasting live from the M&M concept store.
Oh,
and,
right.
Yeah, and what I was thinking is for today as a bit of a treat, because I'm not in lockdown, is I might broadcast live from some other places.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Around Times Square, if
OB.
you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of an OB, because I want to get to Bubba Gump's Shrimp Shack,
Yes,
which is
exactly.
which is where I met and married my wife. It's going to be nice to get back and see the guys.
Yeah. Great.
Merrick, you would have done you would have done plenty of OBs over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Have you done any stupid
Oh,
locations?
Oh, I've done them all. I've done all of them. I've done shopping centers. I've humiliated myself in so many locations. Train stations, done a few train stations. That's always good. Oh, you know what I love? Ambivalence and poor time needs, at the same time.
Yeah.
You go to a train station and there's two reasons why they don't care about your existence. So you just go, unreal. These people don't know who I am and are not interested in connecting because they've got lives to lead. But here I am at 6:05 in the morning during winter because my program director said, "You know what? You need contact with the people."
Yeah.
You know what you need to do, Tiger? Stop wearing that fucking leather jacket. That's what you need to do.
So what?
Hey,
How close to the tracks are you broadcasting? Are you telling an anecdote and getting heckled by the 8:15 to Morty Alec? Like,
I'll tell you what, there's a few times I wish I was broadcasting on the tracks. It's pretty
Also,
depressing.
when you're broadcasting, are you using the notoriously great sounding train station PA? Because that's
Wish.
yeah.
Wish.
I remember what you did. They had this thing. I can't remember what it was, but radio is, as an industry, just a bandit for this. Is they get terrified that people will realize that they're listening to the radio in a year that starts with a 2. So they're forever rebranding it and doing like, "Hey, here's a cool thing, and we're going to get people from all different radio stations to come together to do a big kind of hands across the water.
Yep.
We love this medium." And I remember there was one, for some reason this popped into my head last week, like before I knew we were going to be on this pod together. And what had happened was Kyle Sanderlands had someone on a lie detector and asked a very inappropriate question, and he'd been taken off the air. And then the very next day, they were having one of these digital radios coming to Australia or something like that. And they got all of the radio stars from around Australia to go and broadcast at the same time in Martin Place in Sydney. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I remember this clearly, yeah.
So they then get everyone together to do a photo. And when everyone's together doing a photo, instead of saying cheese, Merrick said, everyone say lie detector. And created this massive schism amongst all of the radio personalities that were there. And like, people from their rival radio station to yours, Mez, were like, that's inappropriate, and like had a go at you. Is that right? Like, it was quite
a few people got upset. I was working with Rosso at Nova, and it was the launch of digital radio in Australia or something like that. I think we already had it, but we decided to relaunch it in a very typically commercial radio. Yeah, let's relaunch it. We've got this new thing. It's called the Queen Mary. And so we're relaunching it. But yeah, I did that. It was like a whole lot of people got really upset with me. And I was just going, I wasn't the one who put a 14-year-old girl on a lie detector. That wasn't not me. I didn't do that. Why are you getting angry with me about something?
I was just reminding you about it. That's all.
The incident is public domain now. I can, it's open source. I can reference it. I can talk about it. That's allowed. That's okay.
Yeah. It was a bit weird. Anyway.
The irony is that of all the breakfast radio stunts, when you hear we're going to strap a 14-year-old to, lie detector is ironically one of the least offensive options.
Yeah. 100%. That sounds like the best option. But what's interesting is that absolutely changed radio laws. Like literally after that, that was a footnote in radio history. After that, everything started to get tightening right up. Like they started going, okay, yeah, that was a real game changer. And I think the reason, like at the time, we kind of saw it as abhorrent.
I don't think they realised they had to make a law that was don't ask 14-year-olds on air if they were virgins or not. I don't
think. Okay, guys. We've just spoken to all the other networks. We've made a decision universally, and everyone's going to embrace this. Okay, so get on board. We decided we're not going to stab people live on air anymore.
Yeah, that's great. That's the drunk guy in the bar going, "You show me in the rules where it says I can't do this. Point to the rule that says that I can't."
Yeah.
But it's also making that rule is like laminating toilet out of order. Like, just fix the toilet. Like, we don't need a sign.
I would love, Carl. We should have a month where we treat this show like it's a breakfast radio thing, and just the kind of like I'd love to think like,
and let's make some money. Great idea. I love this idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What kind of stunts would we be doing if we were a breakfast radio duo? Like, let's have a month where we just do stunts to and with our listeners.
Well, let's learn from that, and let's get some 15-year-olds in and put them to lie detector tests and ask them about their virginity, because we know 14 is off limits.
All right, we're not allowed to ask if you're a virgin. We can't ask if
we
you're
can just
a virgin.
ask Tommy.
We'll
Let's ask Tommy. Tommy, we don't even need to strap you in. What's it? Tommy, what's it like?
No, I am not.
Ding, 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 ding. Why is there smoke coming out of my computer? What the fuck's going on?
It's like a gender reveal party. There's smoke everywhere.
We're live at the train station. The lie detector has jumped onto the tracks, folks.
It's a gender reveal. It's revealed that he's not had sex with either gender. So yeah,
yeah, strictly non-binary for me. That's how I like him. That's my preference.
Yeah.
Like them, that's so woke. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah,
Thanks,
nice
mate.
one.
Appreciate
Save
that.
this.
It's 2021. It's 2021. Yeah.
Merrick, you've got barrels of wine as your background on Zoom. How are you going now? Like during lockdown, during all this sort of stuff, a lot of people drink too much and whatever. Now you are like, I'm always in awe of you in terms of your fitness regime, yet you somehow look like you're a massive pisshead online on top of that. I don't know how you straddle both of them. I don't know how you do both.
It's such a weird thing, seriously. It's
how
like being it's like
it?
well, it's I won't lie. When I first went into lockdown, that first week of lockdown, I was when I'm going to drink everything. And I did. I just went, because this will only last a week, so I'm going to enjoy it. And I was drinking a lot. And then after about a week, I was like, oh, I think this is going to go a little bit longer. 6 weeks in, I've decided that drinking every day is probably not the right idea. So, but yeah, I love drinking. I'm right into it. But I also too have pretty strict disciplines around it. So I don't drink, like it's a Sunday, I won't drink today. I never drink Sundays. Mondays or Tuesdays. I drink Wednesdays. Sometimes I'll have something to drink on a Thursday, but in moderation, both on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Then Friday and Saturday, I treat myself like a rental car.
Yeah.
So that's what I say. That's what I say. Like I look at myself like a car, and like, you know, pretty much during the week, I'm a Bentley. I look after myself like a Bentley. Then on the weekend, I'm a Hertz rental car that I can just drive into the ocean.
Yeah.
But why? Picks up at Coolangatta Airport, straight to the beach.
Straight into the water.
How do you pick Wednesday? Why is Wednesday the day that you can also go, well, thank God it's Wednesday? Why is it TGIW?
Well, because, you know, with a background in commercial radio, I understand the importance of a pun. So if I say Wednesday instead of Wednesday, it justifies the drinking. But also too, like I thought it's
like you need a life raft. You need if you say to yourself, there's nothing from Sunday to Friday. It's like that's too long. You need a day there in the middle for yourself. Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's appointment setting drinking is what it is. You know, but I don't really drink much. Like I'll share a bottle of wine with my wife and that's it. And that would be all that I would have. But it's, you know, that's very much in moderation. But the fact of the matter is I come from a long line of pretty serious alcoholics, and not like bad alcoholics, not the sort of alcoholics that want to hurt other people. They just want to destroy their own livers. And that
Funny
was the case with, yeah. My dad, great. Like, you know, my uncle, and my grandmother was a massive pisshead, and used to start drinking like at 11 a.m. Would just start drinking because she was old and that's what she did. But so I'm pretty aware of it, pretty cautious about it. So I train pretty hard, and the other days when I'm not drinking, and then on weekends, like I said, I just, you know, eat ridiculous food and treat my body awfully.
It's interesting to hear that you're
extreme.
It's interesting to hear that you're at the point of lockdown where, you were saying like the start of it, you're into the binge drinking and that's the way of getting through. And we're here talking to you. It's interesting to note that you're also currently at the point of lockdown of having a comedy Zoom background. That's maybe like another week or two for you guys before you're like, all right, the novelty of this is off. It's not funny to be in Jerry's apartment anymore when I'm talking to mum and dad. It's time to.
It's the posting song lyrics to Instagram point of the breakup, isn't it?
Oh,
right.
This is how I feel, but through the lens of Nickelback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
She'll see this and she'll be sorry.
This is how I tackle. I'm like, I feel like drinking alone by myself is not that positive at home. I don't want to sit in my lounge room and drink by myself. I think that's sad. So what I do is I take it on the road.
None of the listeners can relate to this, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is okay or if this is sad or if this is a positive spin or whatever. This is what I've been doing. I've been loading up the backpack full of beer and just walking down the street and just drinking on the street and going.
I've seen that.
This is fine, isn't it? This is all right.
Yeah, I've seen you do that. And I actually thought that was a really good thing to do. I think it's really quite clever because you're burning to earn. That's what you're doing. Burn those calories to earn those beers.
Yeah,
you know, it's what you're doing is I think it's actually referred to as Hakuna Matata drinking.
Oh, right.
It's the circle of life.
Oh, great. The Disney version of drinking. Great. All right. Excellent.
Do you think, Carl, this is the first time you've become, like in your life, every neighborhood's got that person that does something weird that you always say, hey, that's the guy with the beards.
Yeah.
Watch him. He's going to get a beer out of his backpack. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
You're that guy. Like there's strangers that know you now.
Absolutely. And it's so much so that I'm doing this, and I realized last night. So I'm doing it, and I'm putting like a dozen beers in a bag and just walking along. I'm walking along, and like the bag is
12 beers.
Flanking. Yeah. The bag's clanking as I'm walking down Bridge Road, and I'm just like walking along going, yeah. And I never have a bottle opener either. So I'm the guy that's walking around with the beer, putting it on various edges down, and just like slamming my fist on the beer bottle.
During a pandemic, by the way. During a pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, hey, where's the beer? I should put that in my mouth now.
Just strolling around Caroline Springs, just rubbing my food on the ground.
Man, the other night I had a walk where I smashed the neck off 2 beer bottles and just threw them on the ground. Was like, fuck.
Right, so
I'm only got a 10.
So yeah.
I've only got 10 beers.
So that's why there's 12 in there, not because you want to drink 12, but you've got to have a couple of collateral beers in there. It's like you only want to drink 4, but you realize 8 of them are going to end up just smashed on the ground. Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. I mean, instead of planning that, I could also just go and buy myself a beer, like a bottle opener, I guess.
Well, you just drink cans. They put beer in cans now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is all great ideas in hindsight, after the horse is bolted. Thanks so much for bringing these fucking genius ideas in now.
So this is like
what beer are you drinking as well? Because I know if I'm watching the weird bloke with the backpack full of beers walking past my window every afternoon, I'm looking at the beers, because if you're drinking Melbourne Bitter Long Necks, I'm like, this place is gone to the dogs. But if you're having some like IPA that's got some fruity, the label was designed by Banksy or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I reckon the property prices are about to go up.
Yeah, this guy's actually walking around because he's looking at real estate while he's doing it, actually. This is the guy who's on it, making the most of this pandemic. Yeah. Well, look, Jules, you're a clever man. Come on. I'll give you enough.
Take a fucking flying guess at what kind of beer he's drinking.
Exactly.
The country of origin.
Yes, have a think. Have a bit of a think, mate.
You're not getting around with like a Carlsberg or a...
No.
Come on, that's Danish beer. What connection have I got with Denmark? Little to zero.
Well, your name's Carlsberg. That was the only reason I thought...
Yeah. Stella, no.
Peroni.
Come on, mate. Have a think. Have a look within yourself. Have a think of what little you know about me and what you think...
I'm just looking at Liverpool sponsor now.
No.
Have a think. Have a think of. All right, Jules. Put it this way. Have a think. Someone in lockdown. Someone who's desperately trying to drink themselves into a stupor and imagine that they're somewhere else. If someone like me, a man in his mid-40s.
What's the beer? The
Singer.
the Thai beer?
It's Singer.
Yeah.
Very close to Chang. It's Chang.
Chang.
Yeah. So
I thought you were going to have VB because you're a bitter Victorian.
No.
Yes.
Come on. There's somehow there's even lower hanging fruit than that on offer, Dulce. So you missed on that one.
So Carl, when you've got the bag, when you're loaded up, when you've got the dozen beers in there, how heavy is this backpack, and is this because this is like a combination between, this is sort of like merging Merrick's week into sort of like one evening where you've got the like hard drinking days and then you've got the training days. You're going out there with like the weighted vest and you're getting pissed at the same time. And the quicker you drink, the less intense the weighted vest becomes. It's actually as a workout, it's really interesting.
This is like Merrick in the SAS. This is possibly something he went through himself.
Yeah, you're doing a drop set.
Yeah.
It's exactly like that. But what you're doing, rather than increasing the load, you're actually decreasing the load. So that's actually a very intelligent form of exercise. So I commend you. I think I approve it. It's amazing. Last year during the first lockdown, a mate and I, we were like, you can't catch up. You can't come within a meter, whatever of each other. And it was all that sort of caper, similar to now. So we had this idea that we would looked at, he's a lawyer. So we looked at it, like he literally went over it and had a look at all of the rules. And he said, I think I've got a plan and it's completely legit. He goes, you bring 6 cans of beer. I'll bring 6 cans of beer in a bag. We'll meet at a park and I'll bring a football. I said, we're allowed to kick a football to each other. And then he said, as the refreshment of choice, it can be beer. He said, because there's nothing saying that you can do exercise. And then if you want to rehydrate with Powerade, knock yourself out, Tiger. If water's your thing, do it. If you want to crunch 6 cans in 35 minutes, that's your prerogative. And that's what we did. And it was unreal. Unfortunately, I drove there. That was stupid. So I had to walk home.
Well, thank you, because I wasn't sure whether I was covered legal. So I'm going to just bring a couple of like tennis balls, soccer ball, a hockey stick on my next drunken walk down Bridge Road, just to cover myself.
One ping pong ball should do it, just in the pocket, ready to whip out.
Another sign from home.
There
another
we go.
Sign from Thailand. Well, you know what? So this is what I've been doing at night as well. So like in my head, I'm trying to distract myself, but also what I'm doing is driving myself crazy because we can't go back to Thailand or anything. I'm watching. I've been very much known on this show to watch a lot of Thailand webcams. No, not those sort of webcams. Webcams where they're just outside of venues. I'm just watching people walk down the street. I'm watching people eat at restaurants. I'm voyeuristically just watching people enjoy themselves. Again, not in that way, just living normal life in Thailand. So
because they're back, right? They've reopened like in the last month.
This is the thing. There's been nothing to watch for a long, long time. Been nothing at all to watch. It's just like in tourist towns, there's nothing going on. You're just watching, it's like American Beauty. It's like Thailand Beauty, plastic bags floating down the street. That's all you're watching. So
and you're Kevin Spacey, not so much in the film, but yeah.
Yeah, looking at young girls from the school. So rose petals, the whole lot. So I'm not watching. I've given up on the webcams, right? So I'm now watching. Weirdly, I'm now a fan of vlogs. I'm now watching people over in Thailand recording vlogs. I now get it why people listen to this show. They're into podcasts. I'm now into vlogs. It's fucking pathetic. But anyway, I'm into it. So
this is the hierarchy. People say to you, people make fun of doing a podcast. It's like, what a lame thing to do. And you're like, what's the thing below podcasts that I can shit on? And the answer is there's only one: vlogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
How can I punch down today?
Oh,
So, what are the vlogs about? Like, what are they?
It's people that are stuck or have chosen to be stuck in Thailand, and they're just sort of doing laps around Thailand, going, check it out. This is really good. If you guys could travel, you should be here now because there's no tourists here. Fuck, this is great fun. This is so good. The beaches are so clean. This is the best. And you know why it's the best? Because you're not here. And so that's them the entire time.
I like the
Isn't the great it's the great irony of tourism is that, you know what kills tourism? Tourists.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's tourism kills tourism. But I can imagine that Thailand would basically be like going to Disneyland on a day where only this, there's the park's kids or something like that are allowed to attend it, and it's just like there's no queues,
no lines,
everything's still open,
no
lines.
When Cartman buys the theme park in South Park, that episode where he's
and Goofy's lowered his prices for hand jobs because there's no business around, exactly the same deal. Yeah.
I really want to explore Merrick's idea of Disneyland doing a kid-free day where they ban children. Not today's children.
Sorry, our entire business is based around you and your dreams, but not today.
Yeah. Let's be honest.
This one's just
joyous
for
laughter
us.
And smiles just get in the way of the adults having a good time. So we're kicking the Rugrats out, and now it's time for the over 40s to have a good time in here.
It's like those shows when the Wiggles go, no kids, this is just for the grown-ups. You go, okay, weird, but sure, okay, all right, no worries.
But surely we've all been to like a water slide park or something like that, right? Where you're an older gentleman, you just go, it's still exhilarating, still great fun to go on water slides, but you see kids at the water slides, you just go, you are ruining my time here. Right?
Yeah.
Mate, if you haven't got your goggles, if you don't know that you're not allowed to wear goggles on the slide, mate, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be here. Mate, everyone knows no goggles on the slide. So what are you doing, mate? Oh, you're 7. You're 7. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been asked to leave a few of these parks.
I've been watching these vlogs and the news has been going around. They've opened up Phuket, they've opened up Samui, and there's been a big countdown. And so I'm treating this as my treat at the end of the day. Everyone goes to bed at night. Either I go out on my backpack drunken walk, or I sit at home and it's like Mama wants to watch her programs, her stories or whatever. That's me.
Yeah.
I'm at 11 from 11 till 12.
This is your telenovela.
Yeah. From 11 till 12, I'm watching my Thailand version of Young and the Restless. That's what I'm doing. I'm catching up on my stories. I'm watching the vlogs, and I'm counting down the days where people are putting up vlogs going, oh, it's only this many days to go until Koh Samui's open. I'm like, oh, wow, imagine. And they're like building up to it and whatever. And so the other night, I was literally
I love how there's no in between. It gets to 5 p.m. It's like, what shall I do tonight? Shall I drink in the street or shall I watch a webcam?
Yeah.
It's over here. It's
only
over
two
here.
options. These are the only two things.
So it's like me living in the country as a kid again. It's either Channel 6 or Channel 8. That's your two options on TV. That's all there is. Ballarat or Bendigo TV. So I get to 11 o'clock and I'm counting down the days and the vlogs are counting down the days. It's 3 days to go until Koh Samui's open. It's 2 days to go until Koh Samui's open. And then I'm like getting to the day and I'm going, oh, which one of my vloggers should I watch for the big celebration? You know,
Right.
which one's going to have the exclusive?
Who's going to have the best
the
content
real
for
celebration
the reopening?
coverage
And
of it? Yep.
Are the vlogs, presumably from the way you've painted them, the vlogs are off it. They don't want it to reopen because they're great because it's not crowded.
Yes, but they're like us. They're like podcasters in terms of they need content. There's only so many days in the last 5 months where they can go, well, let's check out what coconuts taste like today. Oh, fuck, we did that one yesterday and the day before. Ding or Chang, what do you prefer? Fuck, we've done that one yesterday as well.
Right.
So
yep.
They're looking for content. Things are open. They're like, great. So I'm like, literally, the night that they open, I'm literally saying to my wife and child, hey, why don't you guys get into bed early tonight? You know, there's not much on tonight. You might as well. You've had your dinner. You've had your bars. Get into bed. Daddy needs to. Oh, Daddy just wants to chill out by himself tonight. You know, I'm like, I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch the Scoop tonight.
Saying to a 2.5-year-old, why don't you go to bed early tonight? Why don't you crawl in before this normal 6 p.m. bedtime? Why don't you wrap it up about 4:30 today?
You look at there's big bags under your eyes, 2.5-year-old. I think you should hit the hay. You've had a big one today.
Hey, do any? I have only gotten ironically into vlogging once because they're forever feuding with each other, these people. And have you always had any? But they're always getting in blues where there's there was an Australian one whose name was her name was Freely the Banana Girl. Are you familiar with this person?
No.
I'm logging in right now because that has sold me.
Yeah.
Unless she lives in PP Island, I'm not really familiar with her work. Yeah.
So she may well actually, because she's always in these tropical areas, and she's this woman who she became vegan or something, and that's her whole identity. Well, this was years ago. Her whole identity is that. And what she'd do is she'd do these videos where she'd just show you how much fruit she's eaten that day. And it was always things like, I've had 9 pineapples. Like she'd always eat this insane amount of fruit. And she'd film it, and it would look like, you know, at the beginning of Biggest Loser, where they make them eat just so much food. And there's this sweeping shot of this disgusting buffet with cheese fountains and marshmallows. It was like that, but for fruit. And then she'd go out, and she was dating this cyclist, and they had this big falling out. And he also had a YouTube channel, and there was months where all they'd be doing is setting the record straight on something the other way. Listen, why would I say that to Freely? I'm in love already, and all this stuff, and they'd have all these fights. And it was the best thing ever because they were both two complete insane people.
Well, these guys.
I'm into the vlog fights.
These guys are more. They're basically stuck in the same couple of islands together. So they're constantly running into each other. They're all doing selfies on beaches, going, "Look at this sunset," and then you'll literally see another couple of vloggers in the background doing the same shot. Fuck!
It's like the Marvel movies. They're setting up one of them in the other one, and then it's like if you see them all, you
the
kind of
Thailand vlog universe.
Yeah.
Is this TVU? Canon? Wait, what's going on?
Yeah. So you're seeing a lot of them, and they do tend to they do inevitably hang out together because they're sort of like, well, we don't really know it. There's no other tourists. There's only people who actually were born and live here, and we don't speak the language. So I guess we're hanging out with the only other people on the island that speak English, and they have the same hobbies and have spare batteries on them that could probably come in useful. So you do watch, and there is a bit of tension. There will be a little bit of there'll be someone filming something, and someone will go, "Oh, you're going to use that lens, are you?" And it's like, fuck.
Fucking
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, it's a bit of thinly veiled sort of professional jealousy and rivalry and whatever.
Right.
So I'm watching all of that sort of stuff, and so they're counting down the days, and I go, you know what? I'm gonna
Countdown's
go
like
with this guy.
the Avengers Endgame of the Thailand vlogger universe is the
They
big
go
countdown.
for 3 hours,
Yeah.
and one of them dies.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, like, I know this sounds like a dumb question, but like when you just said it then, Tommy, like what is the end game for these people? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is the end game that you do a vlog, do they make money from it? Are they able to make enough money from their vlogs?
I believe they do. So from what I've gathered,
No,
like,
they just want people to know about the country called Thailand. Like,
yeah.
I just want to be a part of this movement.
They're like as if Hogs had thrown a shrimp on the barbie for like no money at all. He's just outside the Opera House cooking seafood for fucking no cash anyway. Same deal. Yeah.
Make money, Carl? Is it they're able to sustain a living from it?
Yeah, so I think from the look of it, between like if they get enough hits on YouTube, they get enough advertising. And look, I'm fast forwarding through I'm skipping a lot of ads. So I hope they're getting fucking paid, because it'll be right on the verge of them, trying a fucking kiwi fruit or whatever the fuck. And then I'm like, oh wow, this will be great. A different fruit they're gonna eat this week. And then I get an ad for Squarespace. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
now I'm gonna have to wait 10 seconds to figure out if the fruit's any good or not.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're seeing an angry whopper from Hungry Jack's while you're watching them eat kiwi fruit.
Yeah.
What's great is that you already know the flavor of that fruit, but you're waiting to see what they think of that fruit. And they've already eaten it.
I've been to all the places, Merrick, they're going to. I've been to all the places, and I'm still waiting to see what they think about it. Yeah, for sure.
Where are they from? Where are the bloggers from?
There's Canadians, there's English, there's Americans. There's literally vloggers I fucking hate that I'm watching every day. I'm sitting there, I'm hate watching them. I'm hitting up other people going, are you catching this cunt? I fucking hate this guy. Oh, hang on, there's a new one popped up. I've got to watch it. Sorry, I'll talk to you later. So yeah.
How many of them are white guys with dreadlocks?
Oh.
Great
No, there's no dreadlocks actually.
Yeah, can you give us like a profile? Like, I mean, it's awful profiling people, but I think it's okay when you do it with vloggers. Give us like a stereotypical profile of one of these vloggers.
Age roughly would be the average age.
They're mid-30s.
Okay.
They're roughly all mid-30s. They haven't had a proper job for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Or ever.
Coming from the four of us.
Yeah. It's actually, hang on, you know what? How about I just describe me and Tommy, and then we just pretend we're in Thailand, because that's the profile.
Because what I love saying, when you were saying before, do they make money off it? When I was going to Europe 2 years ago, I was like looking up some of the areas I kind of wanted to go to just on YouTube to find like kind of video stuff of it. And you always stumble across the people that aren't doing vlogging as a job, but they've decided that they will be able to one day. So to get a start, you've just got to like go on a trip and film yourself walking around, Paris or wherever, and seeing these videos that have like 100 views, and the person is sort of doing it as an audition tape, thinking this will take off. And then one day in about a year's time, I'll be being paid to go to these places. But you're watching it and it's like the camera's just pointed at the ground. The person is an absolute vacuum of charisma, and they've just got like one video on their channel. Like it's never taken off. They've flown to Paris with the express purpose of launching the vlog career, and it's just never happened for them. And it's such a low bar too.
I'm subscribing to a new one at the moment because I'm watching these pro vloggers and they're doing a good job, and I understand. I understand. I've learned how to vlog through these guys. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like the guys I hate, I go, I hate you, but I respect your art. I understand what you're doing.
I hate your personality, but I like the places that you're visiting. Is that it?
Yeah. I wouldn't piss on you if you're on fire, but I'm a fan of your cinematography. So
you're a real separate the art from the artist kind of a guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love Cosby stand-up.
Famously.
Big fan of Cosby stand-up.
Yeah. I wouldn't piss if you were on fire, but I would watch the video on your channel of you being pissed on while you're on fire.
Yes. Absolutely. So I'm now subscribing to people that are not only I hate, but their vlogs are terrible as well. Just so I'm watching them just going, what the fuck is this cunt thinking? Like, this is insane. So I saw it happened like a week ago or so. Koh Samui opened up, and I'm like, right, I'm going to watch the grand unveiling, the grand opening, and they threw this big party at the beach on Join Beach in Koh Samui, literally the beach that we had our podcast festival on three years in a row. And so I'm watching that, and I'm like, it's sort of a bit nice as well. I'm watching this huge party with all these like hundreds of people and whatever on the beach. I'm going, fuck yeah, this is like us, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it is. And this guy's vlogging all the way through. They've got a tourism minister there. They've got fire twirlers. They're drinking on the beach. So I'm like, oh man, and it's that little hint of going, we're getting back to normal. We're getting closer to me going back there. And this guy's like, doing interviews on the beach. And as he's doing the interviews, I'm sort of going, okay, this is all getting a bit samey. This is all getting a bit, you're interviewing a lot of people that work for these resorts. And it goes on for ages, and it gets to the end, and the guy sums it up, and he goes, yeah, this has been a great reopening. It's been awesome. I mean, look, it's let down slightly by the fact that only 6 people flew into Koh Samui today. What the fuck?
Morrison and his family.
And there was this huge party. They were all ring-ins. They were all crisis actors. They were all they were all people from the resort.
Seat fillers.
There was hundreds of people. Yes. There's hundreds of people on the beach having this party. And all I could think of was like, when you walk down the street in Thailand and you just constantly badgered, just these poor 6 people walking down the street, and just hundreds of and tailors going, come on in.
Oh man, they must walk down the street looking like a fishing vessel with birds,
Yes.
Is
this like the plain land
in Bali and Thailand before? You thought you got hassled then. You've now got thousands of people tearing limb from limb, these 6 tourists going, no, you need Barracuda. No, you need a tuxedo.
Yeah.
No, you need some Beats headphones.
Leaving with like 87 hangover DVDs because you're too polite. So is this like, this sounds like the plane's touching down and they're like, okay, please welcome to Thailand. Our first visitors in a couple of years. Veruca Salt, Augustus Gloop, Charlie Bucket and his grandfather.
Wouldn't you love to see the cast of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory dancing awkwardly to boom, 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 let's go back to
Mike TV doing a big bucket full of cocktail.
Yeah. Augustus Gloop getting stuck in the fucking tank that's got the lobsters in it out the back of the restaurant.
Yeah.
So did you get to see the 6 people who turned up? Did they look particularly stoked, or were they just
no? I think they'd gone to bed early. To be honest, they weren't even there.
They weren't even there.
No, they were 100% German sex tourists. They had
ponytails
and they Birkenstocks, and they were hitting the clubs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys have this same thing, but we're so far away from having had any international travel, and my version of Carl's Thailand is Japan. I've been to Japan a number of times. It's the first place I want to go when things reopen, and I don't know if you guys have had this, but the place that you're really busting to go when things reopen. I'm starting to like romanticize even just like the not very good times I've had in that country. Have you guys had any of that where you just like every memory feels great now, even like not the best stuff?
I've talked about this on the show before, but the smell of Thailand is an open sewer.
Yeah.
And so whenever I go past like a sewage farm here or someone's left chicken out in the sun, I smell it and go, oh,
Triggered.
I can't wait to go back there.
Triggered.
What is this picture you're painting for us? I'm walking around the street with beers in my backpack, and I'm putting my kids to sleep so I can watch some person I hate talk about a place that I know better than him. And then if I get time, I'll drive past the sewage plant to reminisce.
Walk past the sewage plant, open my beer on the side of it.
Yes, yep, absolutely.
But Merrick, what's that? Do you have a place like that for you where you're kind of dying to go when you can?
Oh, look, Canberra would be great. Yeah, look, I mean, I'd love to go back to Vietnam. I love Vietnam. Vietnam that's a great country. I'd love to. We're supposed to go to Japan last year because my kids speak Japanese because they're intelligent, unlike me. But that obviously got cancelled. So, for me, it'd be Vietnam. I love Vietnam. I love any country that says, you know what, let's get 7 people, 2 chickens, a pig, and a goat, and put them all on one scooter, and I'll smoke without a helmet on. That's, do you know what I mean? That's like that's proper freedom. How's it like? You know, that's the thing I love about Vietnam is it's a communist country, and yet it's got greater freedoms than we do in Australia. It's like, what the fuck did we fight for? Why did we not just join that? We should have gone over there and joined them.
Be careful. Be careful with the F word with the freedom. As soon as anyone starts talking about freedoms, I'm like, man, are we on a march at the moment? What's going on? Is there a better word you can use than freedom?
Has Merrick got the Comedy Zoom virtual background just to mask the fire twirler and the horse that's behind him at the moment?
No, I'm not. I don't do that. I'm double vaxxed. I've had the Pfizer. I'm all for it. I think you're going to start to see that. You're starting to have those interesting conversations, and I'm seeing them now with groups of friends with my wife and I. Let's be honest. It's her friends that are starting to send around a whole lot of anti-vax information that they found. Guess where they found it? You'll never believe this, right? I didn't know. Seriously, you can find this stuff now on the internet.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't put it up if it wasn't true.
Well, that's it. That's what I said. And I said, I think they've got a pretty good case there. I mean, the fact that there has been trillions of dollars spent on research and scientific investment, but I didn't know that you could just actually find the real answers by typing into your machine at home. So there is absolutely going to be a division. I kind of understand that people are not going to get vaccinated. If you're not going to get vaccinated, I don't care. Don't get vaccinated. I really don't give a shit. I personally don't want to die from coronavirus because it kills people. Yeah. It's killing one person a day at the moment in Australia.
I copped my first one of them last night. I didn't think it was going to happen, but I copped an old uni friend of mine sent me a link to a podcast, Yuck, to start with, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then he's going. And then he sends me a message going, I think you really should listen to this. I'm like, mate, what is it? I'm not going to listen to it. And he goes, I think it would be really helpful and it would open your eyes. And then we should have a really long discussion about it. I'm like, mate, what is it? And he's like, look, you're going to call me an anti-vaxxer, but it's a podcast about how the vaccine
anti-vaccine.
Good. I'm like, that's literally anti-vaccine. Yeah. And look, very bad timing for this bloke because he texted me all this information as I was walking down the street with a dozen bottles of beer in my backpack, or considerably less than that by this point.
That's freedom.
Really, 10 beers down, this is the wrong time to send me anti-vax stuff. So he got an absolute fucking tirade back at him.
Fuck yeah.
But look how sad the world has become now that, people are starting to try and push this kind of gear onto you, whether you're into it or not, right? When only a few years ago, your biggest worry was somebody trying to push The Secret your way.
Yeah.
I've sent you this link to a thing. What is it? Oh, it's a secret. Is it The Secret? Yes, it's The Secret. Well, it's not a secret then, is it?
Yeah. Remember when we were worried about people who read The Game? Fucking hell. That was a charmed life.
I still think we should be worried about those people.
When the worst thing that you'd open from a relative was like, an email chain that was like, send this to 15 people, or you'll die at midnight, and you'd be like, I can't believe they really believe this. But at the end of the day, the only thing at stake there is just, well, they're an idiot. It's not like they're definitely going to die.
If I don't forward this, my nan will die at a nursing home. The stakes become a lot higher there.
There was none of those spam that was ever like, if you don't forward this on, you're going to end up on a ventilator. It was just straight death.
I'd love to see one of Carl's favorite Thai vloggers turn anti-vax, and that be the thing where it's like, okay, I'm listening. I'm taking this into consideration.
You know what? You know what? I haven't yet turned into the person who gets in the comments. But that's when the debut of Chandler in the comments.
That's coming.
I like the idea that all of the heinous shit you've been looking at on the internet for the last 20 years, the thing that's going to radicalize you is some prick with a GoPro who wants to start kickboxing.
Yeah. Some bloke that stops talking about crab fishing and starts talking about the virus. I'm like, nah, fuck this. Get back into catching a barracuda.
You know what? There was a great kind of I suppose it was a moment the other day where where it was somebody telling me an anti-vax movement had a crack at me on Instagram anyway, and what had happened is it was a result because I'd done some training and I was wearing an altitude mask, right, which replicates altitude. You just put it on. It's like a mask. Mm-hmm. And it sets it to an altitude. So I set it to say 2,000 meters, right? And it just makes you work a little bit harder. It makes your lungs work a little bit harder when you're exercising. Anyway, so I had a photo. I put it on Instagram, and this guy he hit me up in the comments. He just goes, "What?" And I said, I said in the comments, I said, I've been training a little bit differently. I've been using an altitude mask to replicate 2,000 meters altitude. Blah 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 blah. Like literally in the first sentence. And this guy comes on, he just goes, "Oh, sheeple, I can't believe a grown man is wearing a face diaper." A face diaper, he called it. Why don't you take the time to look up some information and blah, 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 and like getting stuck into me about not knowing and opening my eyes and stuff. And I just wrote back and said, mate, for somebody who is all about finding the detail and stuff, you missed the first part in the first sentence. Like you're all about reading into and finding more information, and yet it literally states in the first sentence, this is an altitude mask. It's not an anti-vax. It's not a COVID mask. But it's just amazing that people they're so reactive that he just goes, I found an opportunity. That guy's wearing a mask. I'm going to nail him by not reading any of this stuff and then just comment on it thinking what it is.
Just trolling the internet for masks. He just found Batman and gone, "You're a cunt." Spider-Man, you're a cunt. Bane, the worst. Bane is the worst.
Now, if we can just shift the focus to this ridiculous mask that you've bought, how much did you spend? And I need you to be honest. I need you to be 100% honest.
Wow.
How much money did you spend on the mask?
Oh, I don't know.
How much did you spend? How much did you spend on a mask to make you, weirdly enough, breathe worse?
Yeah, I was going to say.
From breathing properly.
I was going to say, I don't want to catch COVID. I might wear this mask that simulates my lungs not working properly.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, you feel it too. You just go, why am I doing this? It's not comfortable, but it does make people in the community scared of you, mainly dogs. But I reckon I found it online and it was about $80 or something like that. So it's actually not that bad, Dawes, because I know what you're thinking. I would have paid upward of $900. I would have paid upward. If the first ad I'd seen was for $1,000 reduced to $920, bang, I would have had that.
You're the lifeblood of so many stupid gadgets. Like you're the lifeblood of the industry. Where they're like, it doesn't matter. Like there's people like Merrick Watts. We'll be able to sell. Like we'll definitely break even at the worst case. Can you run us through some of the shit gadgets that you've bought just in the last 12 months? I know that if there's some guy that goes, this is a new bottle opener that can aerate your wine. It costs you $300. Merrick will go, well, it's only $300. I should get. What's the most expensive bottle opener you've got?
Does the head of Demtel live in a gated community because of you?
Yeah. Look, I've been buying stuff off Demtel from the days when it was just on television and you'd ring up. I remember very, very clearly. I was sitting at home hungover when I was working at Triple J. So this is like 20 years ago, and an ad came on. I was living in a no bedroom apartment in Newtown in Sydney, so just like a loft apartment, tiny little thing. And an ad came on Demtel for a drill set, and I just went, I'm getting that because I'm not a dickhead. Look at that. That was $300, and today it's $65. What am I, a moron? I'm going to buy that. So I bought it. Guess what I didn't have? A drill. Not even kidding. I'm not even joking.
They never named.
I bought the drill set with the intent to buy a drill. Do you know how much longer I bought it? I was living in an apartment. What was I drilling? There was nothing to drill. I had a drill set.
Yeah.
And still to this day, I have got that drill set. I use it all the time.
Yeah, great. They
paid
never
off,
name
great.
if someone in the community has the coronavirus, they never like name them in the press. But if I see in Sydney, there's like a list of exposure sites and it's just a visit to the sharper image every day for a week, I'm going to know Merrick's gotten the virus.
And the virus.
But to go back.
I was going to say, Merrick, can I ask this? Because someone told me this a while back. You're into your training. You were on the show, the SAS Australia, where celebrities got on and trained with the big boys. Now I would assume that you were the most into it. This is your thing. You treat your body like a temple. You're, apart from Wines Day, obviously. But you were the most serious about it. You train really well. Now I just want to know if this is true. What I heard, I couldn't make any sense of it, but I love the story, which is why I want to bring it up and confirm it with you. Someone said to me, "Oh yeah, did you hear about Merrick? He's training really hard for this SAS thing, getting ready for it." I was like, "Oh, what does that mean? How do you train for it?" And the person said, he's getting his kids to lock him in a cupboard." I'm like, okay, I don't know how that trains you for anything. I don't know how that improves you. But I love the image of just you saying, "Daniel, Jennifer, can you whack me in the larder and lock it? This is helpful for
Tools.
Wait. Do we want this confirmed? I'm so happy thinking this is real.
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily want.
Yeah.
Let's have a show of hands, right? And I'll be completely honest with you. Show of hands now. Out of the three of you, who believes that I locked myself in a cupboard for training for SAS?
Not you.
And who thinks
your kids locked you?
Well, okay. That I was at any stage I was locked in a cupboard for training for SAS Australia, and who reckons that is just a comedy urban myth?
I am the Fox Mulder of dumb cunts. I want to believe.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think
I put my hand up.
I think you got this as advice from your close personal friend Ben Robert Smith, and that's what.
And you know what? I didn't think it was weird when you signed the contract. He goes, "You should bury that." Just
and the contract was on someone's leg as well. That was slightly weird. Yeah.
Look, I will confirm that is partially true.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
The only thing that's not true about it is that my kids locked me in there. This is the incident, right, that we know about in my house and in my family, it's not really publicly known for obvious reasons. But so what happened is, when I was training, I knew that I was going to have to endure torture, physical deprivation, right? Physical and mental deprivation. So I thought, rather than wait for it to happen on the show, I'll just do it to myself.
On our podcast. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So I rang you guys. You guys had somebody else booked. Dooley was in. I went, all right, I'll wait. So then I found this track, this music track. It's an audio track that they use to literally torture people in Guantanamo Bay. And it's
duck sandwich bit. Is that it?
Oh no! This is where your Triple M training came in useful, obviously.
Yeah, correct. It's just Nickelback. It's just heaps of Nickelback. Yeah. So I got the audio and I made a loop, and it's like really pretty horrific stuff. It's like, chainsaws and screaming and dogs barking and babies crying. It's really quite discombobulating. So I got that track ready. Then one night at around about probably maybe 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that, I woke up, got out of bed, stripped down to just my underpants. It was in the middle of winter. It was cold. And I went into a storage cupboard in the garage and just in my undies, and the mask, the mask, the altitude mask.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. To restrict the amount of airflow, to make it breathing harder, because I knew that would be a part of it as well. It was pitch black, and then I put on headphones and I listened to this music, and I put myself in stress position. So buckled over on my knees, arms against the wall, all exactly the same stress positions they use in Guantanamo Bay to interrogate prisoners. And
you're in your storage cupboard, so you're next to your 8-foot tall fiberglass statue of the Predator and your massage chair and your
Yeah,
Bar
and,
fridge.
and so many pictures of Rosso just right behind me, just going, just to really bring on the fear. And so I'm there, and what's happened this is maybe where the kids thing comes in. I don't know, but what happened is that in the middle of the night, Georgie, my wife, wakes up and just goes, "All right, where is he?" And gets up and can't find me. She's gone all around the house. She starts to get a bit worried. She's gone, "Oh, maybe he's gone for a pack march in the middle of the night." Checks all my kids there.
You haven't told her that, you haven't warned her that this is what's going to happen.
No, why would I?
Hey, honey, don't get up. I'm just going to go and torture myself in the garage.
I just thought it was, honestly, Jules, I just thought it was unnecessary detail.
Don't stress if you see me missing, because I'm only probably dead. So I don't want you to worry a pretty little head about this.
So she gets up, she's looked all around the house, like everywhere, looked in the kids' bedrooms, thought I might have just gone in and seen the kids have fallen asleep or something like that. Can't find me, starts to get a bit worried, goes to check all my gear.
I think she rang me to see if you'd gone on a walk with me to polish up a dozen beers, but no.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was doing.
I was at home watching vlogs by then. I was well gone. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, so so then anyway, I was in the cupboard and in the storage cupboard, and it's now like 1 a.m. and George is getting panicky, and she goes into the garage, and for some reason she just comes up to the door and just thinks this is literally the last place I've looked, and she opens it up and it's
Merrick's always in the last place you look. Yeah, that's what they say.
No, I'm there, like virtually nude with a restrictor mask on, an altitude mask on, headphones on, with my hands in a pressure situation against the wall, and I'm buckled over on cold concrete on my knees. And Georgie opens the door and she just goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I just turned around and said, "Go away, I'm training."
Yeah.
The funny thing is that is the exact way they say you should prepare for Hughesy. We have a problem as well.
But can I ask, Merrick, did you doing that? Did you get into the show SAS Australia? Did that come in useful in any way at all?
I'm not joking. 100% it did. It completely saved me. So what happened is the very, very last day, second last day, sorry.
It helped him for the ladies.
Yeah. I was on the red carpet and I was about to be interviewed by Richard Wilkins, and I went, "Go to your happy place, miss."
Speak about the mask. Speak about the mask. Speak about the mask.
When we were on the show, we were captured and we went into interrogation, and all that stuff played out, and they hooded us. They put a hood over to restrict the breathing. We were all blacked out. It was freezing cold. It was only 4 degrees there, and we were being tortured. And people break, like they just go. It's understandable too. But I was there for 6 hours in interrogation, and at no stage did it bother me. I've got to be honest, because I've done that training. Yeah, the funny thing is they put the headphones on us, like you're tied up, like you're literally chained to a wall in a freezing cold room on your knees, and you're super uncomfortable and you're in pain. And then they put the headphones on, and what comes on is the exact soundtrack that I had made for myself and trained for myself. So I'd listened to it so many times that when it came on, it was familiar, not frightening. And I was just like, "Yeah, I got this," and that was it.
But this is being done to celebrities. Like you're the one freak that's prepared himself. Like, what about Anthony Collier and Jeannie Little and whoever else is getting like tortured? Surely they just lost their minds straight away.
Look, I turned around to Dawn Fraser. I said, "How are you going, Dawn?" And she said, "I'm smashing this, Watsy. We're home."
We've got to.
That's it.
I pictured you doing all this training, and then you get there and they're like, "Yeah, Merrick, drop and give me 20 push-ups." And it's like that's about as hard as you go. But
Yeah.
It's pretty real.
The wild is like, no, not for me.
Well, this is another thing that we heard about you recently, Merrick. It's like that what you just did, that story you told is very harebrained, very intense, in many ways a very kind of insane thing to attempt to do. But we heard about something that rivals that. Did you try and start up a union for comedians once upon a time?
Oh yes.
No, I didn't. No, I never never tried to set up anything. But no, I do strongly believe that it is strange that we're not unionized. Was talking to somebody about this recently. If you look at all the arts, right, there's a jazz musicians union, jazz musicians union.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's
42. That's the name of their group, isn't it?
Yeah.
that's their clique. There's pretty much every arts subdivision has got a union, except for comedy. Comedy has no union. And I think that one day, if we were to unionize ourselves, we would be all better off. I think it would be amazing for the industry, because comedians are not unionized. And it's mad. Like I said, musicians have unions.
Yes.
You know, everyone does. Everyone, but we don't have one.
Comedians are the biggest scabs of all time as well. They're going to cross the line. It's
Right.
like if someone says, I can't believe this. I did a gig the other night. I had to do 20 minutes to 2,000 people. They only paid me $50. The person listening to that goes, oh my God, I can't believe that. Gets on the phone and goes, I'll do it for 40. So you're not going to get a union when that happens.
That's the other reason why. That's the other reason why we don't have a union, is because we don't have any solidarity. We undercut ourselves. You're spot on. That's exactly what happens. But imagine, here's the thing that, like, I noted this about, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago, something like that. But, you know, when I was 21 and I first started doing comedy, the wage that you would get to go and do a spot, it was about, just say for argument's sake, it was $100, right? And pot was $25 a gram. 25 years on, those two things are still consistently the same. The money for marijuana and the wages paid to comedians in comedy rooms is pretty much the same.
That's probably the issue.
Right,
what are you spending the $100 on?
Yeah. And can you tell us who pays $100 a spot? Because can we get some views?
I'll go for 90.
I'll do it for 70 and wear a mask.
Yeah, when we hear that the Thai vloggers have unionized themselves, I think that's when comedy will go, all right, this is absurd now. We need to fucking sort this out. If these guys
Who's going to be our spokesperson? Who is going to be on the executive? Because I don't want some prick with an arrow through his head representing me at the boardroom table.
Or worse, somebody who does comedy magic.
Yeah.
No thanks.
What you say about the scabs is very true, Carl. You'd be standing there, you'd be looking at the pickup line, and it'd be impossible to tell. It's like, which side is the good side? Like there's an equal number of people on either side. Where do we go?
Yeah, someone asked that. The reason that came up is because we were talking about it on a bonus Patreon episode that we do, and we have a little segment on there at the moment where we try and pick which comedians vote right wing, and someone just popped your name up, and we went, it cannot be Merrick Watts because he tried to organise a union. You cannot be right wing and organise a union for comedians.
Yeah, I don't know. My mum's from Broken Hill, which is where the union started. So yeah, look, I think, don't you guys think it'd be great? Like, I mean, you could have standardised wages and people could, you know, go knowing that they were going to earn some money.
Yeah, rooting Pammy would be great. Heaps of things would be great.
Yeah. And again, I'll undercut you guys. I'll undercut you $10 to root Pammy as well. Again.
Also, have you noticed how uncomfortable this is making Carl, who is the wealthy industrialist of this conversation?
Oh, no. Absolutely not. Not at all. Not at all. Do not say that about me. Absolutely not. No.
He's just waiting for his kids to get old enough to be able to make sneakers. You watch.
How am I the person that comes off as the wealthy industrialist where Merrick has got 24 barrels of wine behind him in his Zoom window? How am I the guy like that?
You know the most amazing
Carl, to
part
be
of
fair...
The most amazing part of Merrick's torture story is the fact he's a comedian that has a garage. Look at you!
Yeah. Oh, nice one. Oh, you don't park your car on your lawn. Someone's doing all right.
Yeah, but to be fair, do you know how many kids I had to put on lie detectors to pay for that house? There's a lot. Those lie detectors don't build themselves.
Are they more things you bought from Dental in the middle of the night?
All right. Well, we better wrap it up for another week on the Little Dum Dum Club. Merrick and Dools, thank you very much for joining us. Have you got things to plug at the moment, guys?
Yes, unionist movement for the comedians would be great.
Yeah. You've got your big wine gigs that you can plug that'll be back at some stage, I'm sure.
Yeah, Grapes of Mirth. Yeah, look, I mean that's what I'm hoping. I mean, but also I'm hoping to get out of my house at some stage.
Yeah.
So
Keep an eye out for that.
until then, yeah.
But that's
like,
Grapes of Mirth. They're huge comedy gigs. They're on in vineyards. Big comedians. If you just follow Grapes of Mirth on your socials, there'll be something near you.
Yeah, I hope so. if not, this business strategy is as flawed as my union movement.
I like how you've turned this into like the drunk comedian is like your thing now, and we've all been doing it on Tick for years.
Yeah.
I should get paid for it.
Yeah.
Dools, what about you? You got stuff to plug? You got your podcast where you try and get cartoons in the New Yorker?
Yeah, we're doing it. I'm doing another podcast actually at the moment called This Morning Today, which is kind of like it's each morning I'll wake up and read the New York Times, news in brief email they send around, and I'll just make jokes about it.
Cool.
So it's kind of I don't know if it's any good.
It's so cold in New York today. So cold in New York today.
Yeah.
There's the squirrels are hiding in
Donald Trump's head. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the thing on Donald Trump's head ran away.
Yeah, there we go.
Paul Schaefer and the CBS Orchestra, ladies and gentlemen, coming up with Liv Tyler and Toad the Wet Sprocket.
All right, guys. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. See
you, mates.
mates.